Scoot, and welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. On my radio talk show today on WWL in New Orleans, look, it's Thanksgiving week. I mean, I wanted to have fun. I wanted to have a lighter show today. We didn't want to spend much time talking about the Saints. They sucked yesterday. They lost to the Eagles, 3 losses in a row. Not good. Time to maybe try Taysom Hill as quarterback, but don't let me digress anymore. All right. So somebody brought up something. Somebody called, there's either a caller or a text, mentioned something about Kyle Rittenhouse and the trial. And I said, I think the guy's a punk. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a punk. My God, the phone lines lit up. There were so many people who were totally insulted and offended that I would call Kyle Rittenhouse a punk. People wanted to know, well, on what grounds do you say he's a punk? Well, first of all, let's get the definition of punk. Punk is defined as a worthless person. I'm going to add to that. A punk is a worthless person who thinks he's big shit. Okay. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't really perform any great function at the riot. Now, I support the jury's decision of not guilty. I understand the jury's decision to acquit him. I get it. His life was threatened. And even if you're a punk, you have a right to defend yourself. So I get all that shit. What I don't get is why people think this guy's a damn hero. Another way to describe a punk is, another definition for punk is a young troublemaker. Kyle Rittenhouse is he's a punk. He went there, he went to the protest to act as law enforcement and as a medic. All right, this is like a, doughboy kind of guy who gets a gun. He's not old enough to get it himself, so he gives money to somebody, a friend. It's the boyfriend of his sister, who he kind of bonds with and looks at as an older brother. He gives the money to the guy. The guy gets him a gun. So he's not supposed to have a gun, but he figures out a way to get a gun. He takes that military-style semi-automatic weapon, AR-15 or one of those. You know what those guns are. He brought that with him to the protest. He was there to protect a used car dealership. This is like a Pillsbury Doughboy who isn't good enough to be a cop, so he wants to act like a cop. And that's what he was doing that night. He was acting like a cop. He also wanted to be a medic. Now, he testified on the witness stand that he is studying nursing online at Arizona State University. Well, the Arizona State University online program to which he is enrolled has no connection with any Arizona State University curriculum or any degree. So it's bullshit. He went around people at the car dealership telling them that he is a trained emergency medical technician. Liar. People who say things like that are punks. So, he was lying to people because, again, this is a guy with low self-esteem, and he has to pretend to be something big because he's nothing. And I don't know why people get so upset with that. And then there were some listeners who wanted to know, well, on what grounds do you say he's a punk? I think he's a punk. That's my opinion. his body language, the smirk on his little Pillsbury Doughboy face, and, just the idea that his mother brings him and he ends up going to this riot. His mother drives him to Kenosha. The guy was looking for a way to feel important, kind of like George Zimmerman. The problem is that there are going to be people who are going to see, there are people who see him as a hero, and there are people who are going to continue to see Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero. And the next time there's a protest, especially one that might get violent or one that is violent, there are going to be people showing up with their freaking guns, and they're going to think it's their role to help the police. Bad shit can happen when that happens. Watch. And I'm predicting that there are going to be people who are going to show up with guns in some of these situations, and they're going to think they're doing what Kyle Rittenhouse is doing, but they're going to make some mistakes, and their asses are going to be in prison. This is a very interesting, unique situation. There were people who thought he was an active shooter. If I had a skateboard and saw an active shooter and I thought I could hit him in the head with it, I would do that. But the lesson to be learned here is, if you see somebody that you think is an active shooter, learn from this that he might not be an active shooter. So don't hit the son of a bitch. Let somebody else do it. So really, no good came of this situation. However, Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm going to make this prediction now, and it's documented here on the Scoot on the YouTube channel. I'm going to make this prediction now. Kyle Rittenhouse is going to end up being somewhat of a celebrity, and he's going to end up with a lot of money, because there are people who look at him as a hero, and they're going to want to give him money. I mean, my God, if you want to give him money, give him money. But I you're going to make the guy rich for what? What did he do? He had a punk attitude, and he went to act like a cop and a medic, and he wasn't either one. You want to be a real cop? Go through the process. Become a real law enforcement officer. Don't bullshit around with like getting a gun, thinking you're a cop. He's infatuated with police. That's great. We need more young people who are infatuated with police officers. But we need people who are willing to go through the training of being a police officer. The problem is that a lot of people with guns and with this punk mentality are the very people who are going to show up and not know what the fuck to do with a gun. And they're going to end up hurting somebody or maybe killing somebody because they don't know really when or how to use a weapon. They think they do. They think they do, but First Amendment says I can have a gun. Yes, but it would be nice if you knew when and how to use it. And a lot of people don't. They don't even give a damn to learn. So if Kyle Rittenhouse opens the door for people to become vigilantes, then we're going to have some problems. I realize the police are overburdened. And there are times when, and there seems to be this false narrative going around that the police in Kenosha were told to stand down or that they weren't doing anything. Now, I'm not a police officer, but I do know that there are times when police officers are so overwhelmed by a crowd that it is not in their best interest. It's not in protecting their safety. They cannot intervene in the way that maybe you think they should intervene. So, I don't know where this goes. I understand the not guilty verdict, but I still think the guy's a punk. And I just base that on just my opinion. Look, some people think Cam Newton is a punk. Look, I can argue that the 3 people that got shot, 2 dead, 1 injured, I can argue that they're punks. There are a lot of punks in this world. And I mean, my God, and the interesting thing is that some of the people who were texting and calling the show today, look, first of all, I know that a lot of people totally agree with me, but there are some white people who get so offended by the idea that you're saying something negative about a white person that they're freaking out. What is your insecurity based on? Why are you so freaking insecure that you can't say this guy's a punk? I don't understand that. I mean, I'm a white guy. You can see that. I'm a white guy. I'm not insecure. And by the way, Kenosha is still standing. A lot of people predicted it was going to be burned down. And that was another thing that came up on the radio show today. People would say, "Okay, well, you think Kyle Rittenhouse is a punk? Well, what about the people that rioted and burned and stole people's property and looted? What about them? What about them? They're punks too." I mean, why is it that it has to be one or the other? You mean, wait, if I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a punk, you think I think those other people are not punks? You think I think those other people are right? You think I'm going to defend those other people? Bullshit. Let's call them all out. Why do some people think not Cam Jordan's with the Saints, Cam Newton? Why do some people think Cam Newton is a punk? Because of his attitude. It is not unprecedented to think somebody's a punk based on the attitude that they project. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a classic example of a punk. That's my opinion. Thank you for joining me. Oh, one other thing. Now we're going to be following the trial of the three men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia. These three white guys claim self-defense when this black male was running away from them. I mean, this is laughable. I think these guys are going down. But what I find really interesting, a lot of people who want to make this big deal about Kyle Rittenhouse being a hero, they're not talking about this other case. And you know why? Because they don't want to admit that those white guys are guilty of murdering a black guy because he was black. This is where we are in America. And I just, I mean, it's really freaking sad. But this is where we are. Make a big deal about one case. Oh, we're not gonna talk about that other case because those white guys. Well, I mean, they really kind of did it. They're really in trouble. Man, why are some people so insecure with being honest about people? Whether it's a black person or a white person or a Hispanic, whoever. On my radio show and here on Scoot on the Air social media, I deal with behavior, not skin color. It's all about behavior. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Muslim, straight, gay, male, female. It's not about any of that. It's about your human behavior. And that's what should be judged. And that's why Kyle Rittenhouse is a punk. Thank you for joining me here on Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't, please become a subscriber. I'm a little more free to express myself here on the YouTube channel. Become a subscriber, and look, if you agree, I'd love to hear from you because I know there are a lot of people who agree with me. If you disagree, I'd love to hear from you as well. I try to answer all of your comments. If I don't get to them right away, I try to come back and respond and answer. So feel free to make comments here. But it's Scoot on the Air YouTube. Become a subscriber. It's free. And if you do, every time we post something, we give you a personal message letting you know that something new has been posted. And join me on the radio show on WWL out of New Orleans. It's 870 AM, 105.3 FM, or go to our website, WWL.com, and stream the show live. I'm on 1 to 4 Central Time in the afternoon, 1 to 4 in the afternoon. And it's a show where politics and pop culture meet your opinions. And as you can tell, I am not a typical conservative talk show host. I'm a registered independent. I'm a radical moderate, and I call it like I see it. And I don't give a shit about either party because they're both bullshit. There are some good Democrats, there are some good Republicans, but the extremes of both parties are full of shit. You can also download the app Odyssey, Audacy. Type in WWL, and you've got us wherever you have your phone.